Yesterday, a certain headline caught my eye, mostly because it was sent to me by about 10 different people. The headline from a local far-left internet rag called the Nashville Scene says this: "What is Matt Walsh angling for?" Now, I'll admit that I clicked the link with great anticipation. I, perhaps more than anyone, would like to know what I'm angling for. Up until this moment, I didn't think I was necessarily angling for anything. There are things that I want, there are things that I'm working towards, things I'm trying to achieve, but I'm pretty open about all those things. In fact, I don't shut up about them. So angling, though, has a more secretive, sinister sound. It has the sound of plotting and scheming. I've never really done any scheming, or at least I didn't think that I had. That's why I was so fascinated to read this article, and so let's do that now. This is from the Nashville Scene. It's from a Nashville Scene writer who goes by the name Betsy Phillips. And here's what it says, quote, "I was watching conservative commentator Matt Walsh make his little speech outside the Supreme Court after arguments in U.S. versus Scrimeti about how we are going to continue to fight against transgender people. As the old joke goes, I was like, who is this we?" By the way, how is that an old joke? That's just a phrase. Sometimes it's used in a joking way, I guess, but I wouldn't call it an old joke. Does this person not understand what the word joke means? Probably not, but let's not get hung up on semantics. Continuing on. But like, it's William Lamberth all over again and other Tennessee politicians. Think about this. Just take a minute to let it soak in. 2 years ago, Matt Walsh gets all these Tennessee politicians to speak at an ostensibly anti-trans rally that ends up essentially being a Proud Boys rally. And as I've hammered on before, not a single politician there had the balls to say, hey, wait, no, I'm not headlining a Nazi rally. You'd think once bitten, twice shy, that Republican leaders would not hang out with Matt Walsh again, lest he surprised them with another photo op with proud racists. But no, off they go again to be by his side. Let's pause here for a moment again. Was my rally a Nazi rally? I guess it depends on how you define it. If you define a Nazi rally as a rally for Nazis, then no, it was not. But if you define it, as Betsy Phillips does, as any gathering of two or more white people who even vaguely disagree with Betsy Phillips on any political topic whatsoever, then yes, I suppose it was a Nazi rally. So, actually, they don't even need to be white. So just two or more people who disagree with this person about anything, that's a Nazi rally. And if that's how you define it, then yeah, I guess by that definition it was. So how did I get all these people to attend such a sinister gathering? Well, Phillips has a theory on that. That's quite a bit of pull. I mean it. You stick a bunch of politicians in front of the Proud Boys and those politicians are still kissing your ass years later? It means they'll tolerate a little public humiliation to be seen with Matt Walsh. Interesting. Who else in the state do you think could do that? Like most people, I'd just been assuming former pro wrestler and current Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs was going to be our next governor. After all, as my brother put it, he's the Undertaker's brother. Of course, Tennessee is going to vote for him, but watching Matt Walsh, I don't know. Y'all, I just got a bad feeling. So that's what I'm angling for. It is to be the next governor of Tennessee. And I have to admit, at first I read this claim with some skepticism. As Matt Walsh myself, I doubted whether Matt Walsh wanted to run for governor or any other political office. My general understanding of Matt Walsh is that he would rather be fed feet first into a wood chipper than run for any political office at all. But what do I know about myself? Certainly not as much as the Nashville Scene knows. Quote, "We're grading on a curve here, and I'm tossing Clint Eastwood out since he's still too good looking to make it fair to other Republicans. But Matt Walsh is passably handsome. He's as attractive as Bill Lee and doesn't have those empty eyes. He's right in there with Jody Barrett, Clark Boyd, Kip Capley, and Kevin Vaughn in terms of conservative cutie patootiness." You know, I've never really spent much time thinking about where I fall on the vaunted cutie patootie scale, but, you know, on this point, and I say this totally objectively, in fairness, Phillips got it right. You know, I get a passing grade in handsomeness. That's at least a C-, folks, okay? That's according to the news, not me. I'm just giving you the facts. I may not be the sexiest man alive, but I am the most slightly above average man alive. Not too shabby. Open an IRA in gold with Birch Gold and get free silver shipped directly to your home. That's right. It's the most wonderful time of the year, the only time of the year that Birch Gold gives away a free 1-ounce silver eagle for every $5,000 purchase. And here's the best part. You don't have to pay a penny out of pocket. Simply convert an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold, and Birch Gold will send you free silver coins directly to your home. Now, you might be thinking, why do I need to diversify into gold? Trump's headed to D.C. Come January, things are looking good. Well, here's the fact. An administration trying to reverse a $36 trillion national debt in just 4 years is like a field mouse trying to stop a freight train. We can't even afford to pay the interest on the debt, let alone the principal. So take action now. Text Walsh to 989898 before December 18th for a free info kit on gold and to claim your eligibility for free silver on qualifying purchases from Birch Gold. Do this before December 18th. Again, text Walsh to the number 989898 for peace of mind that lasts longer than 4 years. What are some other wonderful things about me? Let's find out. Quote, he's comfortable in front of cameras. He has a wife and kids and is religious, or at least he presents himself as religious. He has a huge platform and Daily Wire money. Plus, he has a clear agenda that I obviously disagree with, that he communicates well. Now, I have to say, this is by far and away the most bizarrely complimentary hit piece I've ever read about myself. It's actually starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable, but let's continue anyway. Quote, and at least from the outside, it looks like Matt Walsh has accomplished all he's going to accomplish at the Daily Wire. He's written books, he makes movies. He's perhaps their best-known media personality who isn't either a raging, obviously unhinged lunatic or trying to clean up the platform's extremist viewpoints so that they're palatable to a bigger audience on their way to greener pastures. Or a has-been trying to remain at least a little relevant on their way down. Is he really going to hang around waiting to what? Age into Jordan Peterson? If the Supreme Court rules Walsh's way in U.S. v. Scrimeti, which it likely will, then what? He's won. Sure, he could continue to try to make trans people miserable, but that's boring cleanup work that has the potential to make him look weak if he can't accomplish it. He's worked hard and achieved his goal. Now, at this point, I have to clarify, I think, for the record, that I did not write this article myself. Okay, Betsy Phillips is not my pen name, I promise you. You'd be forgiven for being suspicious, but I promise I did not write this about myself. Now, this is the work of a leftist who I think it's trying to express disdain for me, but instead has accidentally declared that I am a highly accomplished, hardworking, handsome winner. Now, I've already sent this article to a team of trained and qualified fact checkers, and they've all come back and unanimously confirmed that all of the claims in this article are 100% incontrovertibly true. Indeed, what they told me, I'm just telling you what they told me. They said that this is the truest article the Nashville scene has ever published. In fact, it's their only true article. Reading on, quote, Walsh is on an upward trajectory right now, but he needs someplace for all this momentum to carry him. Even if he wanted a mainstream news career, what channel can offer him an audience bigger than what he already has? He would continue to press his way in entertainment, but to what end? To have a Hollywood hit? The whole point of Daily Wire's push in entertainment is to provide an alternative to Hollywood that centers conservatives. If Walsh can make a Hollywood hit, it disproves the basic premise of the whole Daily Wire ethos. Up for Walsh is politics. And with Governor Lee halfway through his second and final term, Tennessee's about to need a governor. I'm prepared to be wrong about this. I'm hoping I'm wrong about this. I hope you're all laughing at me about this in 2 years, and I will gracefully take the digs. Well, I'll try to gracefully take the digs, but this doesn't seem as unlikely to me after this week as it did before. So there it is. So let me just be honest with you. The truth is that I absolutely had not planned nor even considered running for governor or anything else. I would rather be tied to the top of a giant anthill and slowly eaten alive than run for office. There is no part of the process of running for office that I find remotely appealing. And in fact, I don't find the job of being governor or senator or congressman or even president to be all that appealing either. I mean, mostly it seems pretty boring. It involves way too many ceremonies and meetings, which are the two things I hate the most in the whole universe. Now, yeah, granted, I like the idea of having power, but I've always thought that, a position like king or emperor would be more suitable for a man of my tastes. Now, if anything, I thought that maybe I'd, make a run at becoming a tribal warlord in some third world country somewhere, then work my way up to despot, and then keep climbing the ladder until I have absolute power over millions of subjects who are permitted to do nothing but obey me unquestionably upon penalty of death. That had been sort of my career plan for the next 5 years or so. But then I read this article, and Phillips makes a lot of really good points. I was skeptical at first, but then I thought about it, and I began to see the truth in it. Because I'm pretty open-minded. And I always read articles. I'm always open-minded. I'm ready to, be convinced. And, I am handsome. I am smart. I am brilliant and charming. So we can also add that I'm humble because I'm willing to admit that the Nashville scene is right about all those points, right about how great I am. And frankly, here's what I'll say. I'm tired of the political divide in this country. I'm tired of the left and right being at each other's throats all the time, constantly disagreeing over everything. We need more unity. We need to see the value in other people's perspectives, which is why I'm going to unite with the Nashville scene on this issue, the issue of how I'm amazing and should be in charge of an entire state. So I want to thank Betsy Phillips and the Nashville scene. They've inspired me. I never thought of myself as a gubernatorial candidate until this moment, but now I'm thinking about it. In fact, I can announce right now that I am officially launching an exploratory committee to consider the possibility of running for governor. The committee will, have to take a number of factors into consideration. We'll have to find out the answer to certain questions. Questions like, can I still do a podcast if I run for governor? And if I do run and I win, which, as Phillips points out, I definitely will. What happens if I find out that being the governor is actually super lame and boring? Would I resign at that point, or would I commit a bunch of scandals so that I could be impeached? The latter would be a lot more fun. It's a much more fun way to go. What are the chances that it lands me in federal prison? It's a complicated equation, and we got to take all these things into account. Who knows what will happen going forward? But running for governor is a possibility now, all thanks to Betsy Phillips and the Nashville scene. Just as I inspired the best article ever published in its pages, I have likewise been inspired to reach for the stars. And for that reason, I must say that neither Betsy Phillips nor the Nashville scene are today canceled. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.